And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Hold on. My bad. I was just looking at my phone because I got an ESPN notification saying that Nico Harrison is going to stay on the Mavs roster and that the Mavs intend to improve going into the next season. So we'll see how they improve, but that's not what we're going to be talking about in this segment. So, in this third segment, we are going to be talking about Malik Monk and how he re signed with Sacramento on a new contract that he has with them. I think this is great for him. This is great for the Kings. Great move immediately, re signing him to a whole lot of money, and he's definitely well worth the money. So I'll just go ahead and read the entirety of this article real quick. So, according to NBA Insider, the Kings and Malik Monk have agreed to a 4-year, $78 million deal that includes a player option, as the Kings were able to keep him without having him test the market. Now, this is the best case scenario for the franchise, as the agreed upon contract is the max they could offered Monk. Like, that is the most money they could have offered Malik Monk. Meanwhile, teams could have offered him way more money than that. Now, coming off a career season where he averaged 15 points and 5 assists per game, the raise was definitely, it's well earned. And, he didn't win Sixth Man of the Year, unfortunately, even though I think he should have, I think he deserved it. He ended up proving that he is a very good option on the team, and he's definitely a piece of that, a very, very important piece that the Kings need in order to be successful. And while they didn't really have that much success this season, they've had a lot of success in other seasons, and this season just wasn't their year. But after losing to After losing to Golden State in the playoffs before, and I mean they did end up beating them, in the play-in when Klay Thompson went over for 10. But aside from that, there was really this was sort of a weird year for them, because it's like they lost their high seeding literally at the very last second because of how close the Western Conference really was. Now, this move right here is the best case scenario for the franchise, as, they didn't have to worry about him testing the market. And this new rule that the NBA, recently issued is insane. Because I believe, I'm not entirely sure about this, but I know there is a new rule in the NBA, and it seems like this new rule allows teams to be able to engage in contract negotiations way before other teams can engage those players in contract negotiations. So it's like they're allowing the teams, for example, they're allowing the Kings to be able to communicate earlier than intended with one of their players about contract negotiations, and therefore, preventing them from being able to test the market. It's a new rule that the NBA introduced, and once the NBA's moratorium ends on July 6th, Malik Monk intends to sign the contract. So there's a period of time where teams aren't allowed to do anything with their players, and when the free agency market opens, which is on July 6th, that's when they're allowed to make their contract signings and things of that nature. But with this new rule, now the teams can it seems like these guys can discuss the deals of the contract before they want to sign it. And they can make public that they intend to sign that contract before other teams can even make a counter offer. So it's very interesting. And the deal was worked out by Representatives Jeff Schwartz and Marcus Monk of XL Sports, with Sacramento Kings general manager Monte McNair and assistant GM Wes Wilcox. Knowing that Monk is coming back will certainly make things easier for the front office this offseason. That is one less hole they will need to fill in the roster as the Kings look to get back into the playoff picture. Despite winning only two fewer games in the last season than they did in 2023, the team missed the playoffs. And after finishing in third place last season, they finished ninth in this season, resulting in a loss to the Pelicans on the road in the second play-in tournament game. Now, a big reason that the Kings were unable to get back into the postseason and win the play-in games was because of the absence of Malik Monk. He suffered a knee injury, leading to his final game in the season being on March 29th. So, despite the fact that the Pelicans didn't have Zion, the Kings also didn't have a very important piece to their offense, and they desperately needed that important piece. Otherwise, they just weren't going to win. So I definitely feel like this is a great contract for the Kings, and it also sets a little bit of a precedent. What's it called? It shows a little bit of a precedent for like what other players are like valued at. So right here, it seems like Monk is valued as a six man, despite his production. He's going to make 78 million for 4 years. So now that's really going to be interesting. Like how many, what other offers the players are going to get, and how the market is going to shift, how people are going to view the value of their players. It's going to be very, very interesting. And there's endless possibilities with this move, and I'm going to actually be talking a little bit more about that in the next segment when I talk about Klay Thompson and his little the possibilities of his free agency market and things of that nature. But let me know what you guys think in the comments of this move with Malik Monk and the Kings. I mean, do you think he should have probably looked to chase more money, or do you think he should have gone to a completely different team? Would you guys have liked him to be on a different team, or do you think this is the right fit for the Kings, just to ultimately get him and keep him and keep him under 100 million, which is it seems like a lot to give Malik 100 million, obviously, but the fact that they didn't allow him to test the free agency market, because I wouldn't be surprised if there would be other teams that would have been trying to outbid the Kings in getting Malik Monk. Now, we have Bernard Archer in the chat. He believes that this is the right fit for the team. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm not a big Kings fan. I don't really follow the Kings like that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But I do like Malik Monk, and I do understand the value that he brings as a six man. While he does come off the bench, he's definitely good enough to be a starter. But I definitely feel like his role is just better coming off the bench, like a Lou Williams kind of player. Everyone remembers how Lou, he was the six man with the Clippers for a little bit. And he would get more minutes than the starting point guard on the team, but he would come off the bench just because come off the bench, and why not? He was so good at coming off the bench. It just made sense for him to continue to do it. It was working. So I think he should just stay on the bench. I don't think he should be a starter. And, the fact that you think, oh, my God, a guy coming off the bench making $78 million, that is a lot of money. Oh, my Lord. What is the matter with his team? No, that's actually a very, very good price for someone as good as Malik Monk. And it's a big deal that he signed before even testing free agency. Because other teams, like I said before, other teams might have outbidded him, and they could have offered him even $100 million by other teams. And it's like someone would have gone higher than the Sacramento. This is like a really big steal for Sacramento. Orlando could have been an option for landing Malik Monk, as I said before. And let me just go ahead and look at the contract breakdown. So he'll make $17 million in his first year, $18 million in his next year, $20 million in the year after that, and then $21 million in his final year, which is the player option. So he was a runner-up to six man. So I think this is good money for him, and this is a pretty good steal coming in from the Kings, because I wouldn't be surprised if there would have been other bidders trying to get him for more money. It's been really, a meteoric rise for Malik Monk. And, over the last 2 years on Sacramento, after he was only able to command a veteran minimum from the Lakers in the summer in 2021, he played well for the Lakers and has broken out with the Kings. So just another player that just gets better after leaving LeBron. So, yeah. Last season, Monk led all bench players in total points and assists and was one of the only 2 players in the past 25 years to have 1,000 points and 300 assists as a player coming off the bench, according to ESPN stats, which, again, it makes it even more baffling that he wasn't selected for six-man. But that is all I have for this third segment. So now we will go ahead and go into the fourth segment, where I talk about Klay Thompson and the possibilities he has in the free agency market, given this, contract with the, given this recent contract between Malik Monk and the Kings. So I'll be right back explaining how that correlates after the short break.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.